Boom shakalaka, what's going on everybody? Randall here from Crypto Love. Today's episode we are going to be talking about, yes, that's right, Grin cryptocurrency. We're going to be talking about Grin, what it is, what's Mimblewimble, everything, because obviously I'm an expert on this. But to be honest with you guys, right up front, I've spent hours today researching this stuff. I still don't understand it. Maybe a lot of you are probably a lot smarter than me, so you'll understand it. You can obviously read stuff and get it. It's still way above my head, but I'm going to try my best to break it down for you guys so that you can kind of understand it a little bit more, understand what Grin is, where it's going, and different stuff like that. Before we get into things, guys, thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting, all that stuff. Also, this video, every other video, brought to you by Monarch Wallet. That's right, you can hold over 1,900 cryptocurrencies in the Monarch Wallet. Grin isn't one of them. And earn up to 10% interest on those cryptos, and it's as safe as cold storage, or safer. So, where did this come from? Well, it's fourfold, really. Threefold, fourfold, it's fourfold. First, my man Whit Gibbs, Bitcoin Broski, he was telling me about this back in I don't know, back when I used to live in Miami. We would have these crypto meetups, and he'd always be like, Grin, 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 Grin. And yeah, I didn't really pay attention. But he was very enthusiastic about it, and he has this whole mining stuff, hashrate.com, where you could probably mine Grin, do that stuff. And then, just the other week when I interviewed Charlie Lee, he was talking about Mimblewimble, okay? And then, there's this dude who's like the Bitcoin Oracle who was telling people to buy Bitcoin 8 years ago, back when it was $1. He likes Grin. And then, furthermore, Grin has their first hard fork coming up in like a week. Now, for those of you who already know Grin, their hard fork, they're going to be doing a couple things. So they're going to be changing around their mining so that people can't create ASICs for it. Also, they're going to have improved bulletproof rewind schemes, and also helping out the Grin wallet. Now, what exactly is Grin other than this cool smiley face? It kind of reminds me of the Nirvana smiley face, but not much because it has an M and a W, Mimblewimble. Because check this out, check it. So Mimblewimble came from this like mysterious thing, kind of like how Bitcoin's mysterious, nobody knows Satoshi Nakamoto. Well, Mimblewimble is mysterious too, nobody knows who it came from. The Harry Potter reference, I never read the books. I don't really understand that stuff. I read the original fantasy books, Lord of the Rings. Hello, yeah. Well, anyways, so meet Grin, the private and lightweight Mimblewimble blockchain. So this is a blockchain where privacy is standard. Oh, and might I say, obviously not a paid review. Duh. Don't even, just fucking, yeah, whatever. Anyways, so private and lightweight Mimblewimble blockchain. It's meant to be like a private blockchain that everyone can use. It's fast. That's private, that secures your privacy, so you can be private and then nobody knows what's going on because it's private. So, Grin is electronic transactions for all without censorship or restrictions. It empowers anyone to transact and save modern money without the fear of external control or oppression. It's designed for decades to come, not just tomorrow. It wants to be usable by everyone regardless of borders, culture, skill, or access. So, using Mimblewimble, which ensures privacy, it's allowing people to basically have very fast, secure electronic transactions. Now it's private, it's super private. It's like even more private than things like Dash, Zcash, and Monero. So it has no amounts and no addresses. Sounds freaking weird, right? Transactions can be trivially aggregated to hide where newly created transactions come from. It gets relayed privately, a random walk among peers before it is publicly announced. Very private. Like, you really don't know what's going on. It's also scalable, so Mimblewimble leverages cryptography to allow the most of the past transaction data to be removed, not necessary. This guarantees Grin won't collapse under its own weight in the long term, like Bitcoin may. Also, it's open, so it's developed openly by developers all over the world, not controlled by any company, foundation, or individual. The coin distribution is designed to be fair, but not gratis, as known and possible. Yeah, they had no ICO, no pre-mine, no founder, blah, 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 that stuff. It's even self-funding. So you can either donate to Grin, you can buy stuff. They have cool t-shirts. They have like like a Make America Great Again hat that says Make Sally Grin Again, something like that. It makes her, I forget. Anyways, so that's the website there telling you a little bit about Grin, but there's even more. So introduction to Mimblewimble. So the main goals of the Grin project are thus privacy by default, scales, strong and proven cryptography using elliptic curve cryptography, which has been tested for decades, design simplicity, and community driven. And a lot of like cypherpunk people who were around the beginning of Bitcoin like Grin because it has that community-driven cypherpunk movement. Now, there's three main properties of Grin transactions that make them private. No addresses, no amounts, and two transactions, one spending the other, can be merged in a block to form only one, removing all intermediary information. Also, with scripting, Mimblewimble doesn't support scripts, but with Grin, they figured out how to do multi-sig transactions, atomic swaps, time lock transactions and outputs, and Lightning Network. Now, the big thing about Grin and Mimblewimble, so like Grin is an implementation of Mimblewimble, is the confidentiality, the privacy. Nobody can know. I mean, it does make sense. You should have privacy. I know nowadays nobody has privacy because not only is the government and NSA spying on you, but Facebook has all your information. Your phone's listening to you. It used to be back in the day you could just like walk into the woods and if you see nobody, you're alone. Nowadays, doesn't happen anymore. But anyways, so they use many different things. Confidential transactions, uniformity, dandelion relay, and cut through to all allow for privacy. Very private stuff. Now, one thing about Grin is that it does have, basically, the emission rate is every second, every tick, 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 there's a new Grin coin produced. There's 60 Grin per minute, and that's going to go on forever. So there's going to be, it's not deflationary like Bitcoin, okay? So it's just going to go on and on and on. And here you can see the emission of Grin, which is in gold, the orange color, versus gold in the green color versus Bitcoin in the blue color, and you see in a long time they're all kind of the same. It's more, apparently it's more like gold because it has a linear distribution than Bitcoin, so they say. But because of that, you know, price may come down a little bit. So we'll take a look at price here. Right now, $4.22. It is on a few different exchanges, stuff like KuCoin and also Bittrex and Buybox and Gate.io. So it's on some different exchanges. But if we take a look at the chart, I mean, in terms of Bitcoin comparative, just coming down and down and down and down and down, seems to be flattening a little bit, but because it does have that emission rate where, I mean, there's basically very large inflation rate right now for the first 4 to 10 years, price may continue to come down. So, am I buying it? No. Does it sound interesting? Yeah, definitely. I think it's cool. I like the privacy features. I like to say Mimblewimble, and basically, that's all there is about Grin. It's like Mimblewimble, privacy, Mimblewimble, meant to be spent and used between people, electronic money, cypherpunk, like kind of like Bitcoin in the beginning, that same like feeling, and that's that. Now, furthermore, there is another implementation called Beam, which is another implementation of Mimblewimble. Kind of identical, but there's a couple differences between Grin and Beam. So Grin is community funding, Beam is corporate structure. Grin is suited for technical users, Beam is suited for all crypto enthusiasts. Grin is on Rust, Beam is on C++. Grin encourages use of coin instead of being stored as value. Beam is a confidential store of value. And mining, they both use Equihash, and the goal is to block ASICs in the long term. So that's pretty much it on Grin. I just want to do one of these things. I haven't done a freaking crypto review in forever, and Grin seemed like a fun one to do. If you learn anything from that, definitely subscribe, thumbs up, that type of stuff. Also, if you didn't like it, let me know. I haven't done a crypto review like this in a freaking year and some, so take some time. Anyways, thanks for watching. Check out the Monarch wallet. They have their IEO going on right now on La Token. And yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.